Ciao and welcome to What's Cooking Ari in week 31 of The Sweetest Kind of Death. This week we look at the illusion of building without risk. One day I was driving up the 405 freeway and I saw a sign. Own commercial real estate in Irvine. Could this be true? Could anyone other than Donald Brand, the great empire builder of the Irvine Company, actually own here in this town? I doubted it, but I still wrote down the phone number anyways. Sometimes fate calls you on a billboard. So the pitch, it was irresistible. They were building a new office complex, a land that was gifted by Donald Brand himself to his son. And this was a development for him to learn how to build and develop a system just like his dad. So I assumed everything was already underway, so it was a safe bet. Prestigious scenario, untouchable. What could go wrong? I took the bait and bought my first office condo, 1,000 square feet, for $500,000. I thought it would be the perfect launch pad for my consulting business. And then the lending market collapsed. I had entrusted Amir, my brother, my safety net, the one who had guided me through risk so many times before, to secure the loan because we were destined to be partners on the totality of this project too. So I had the down payment, but I needed the bulk financed. The builder was demanding the funds. The construction was near complete. There was no turning back. Amir, against his mother's wishes, pulled money from an equity line to secure this property for us. The plan was simple. Once the escrow closed, we would get a loan and repay the debt. But the market froze us. No loans were being given in commercial. None existed, and there was no exit. Just a property getting ready to bleed us dry. And this is where we pivoted and Persiano was freshly minted. We had no cushion from the business because the income was disappearing. We were trapped. So we pivoted. That office condo that was meant for paper and phones and deals, it became Persiano Events' first showroom, first storage facility, and laundry room. Nights were spent hand ironing linens with Ali and Sue and Asal, moving chairs and tables in and out, transforming a financial tomb into a cathedral of love. Clients didn't see our debt or the fear. What they saw was presentation. They saw energy and they saw love. And Persiano Events began. I did want to have something with Amir and I built together once again. I did. Because we had done it before. Irvine Securities, InterFirst Capital, the radio show, the Mitsubishi hustle. But this time, I believe Eco intervened. He was still in the world of finance, still measuring titles and deals. And this pivot into the events world felt like surrender to him. So we parted ways in business, but maintained our bond as friends. I carried the debt for nearly 5 years. I did release him of his portion, but I carried mine, paying back what I could, repaying in full faith, until the day the market finally turned and I was able to sell and get out of what I was in debt. This transaction cost me $300,000, but it also cost Amir opportunities. And it cost my aunt years of worry. And yet, I am forever grateful for what they sacrificed for me. I still wonder what could have been had there never been a crash. The day that I got the building, I really wanted to call my father. I wanted to share the moment with him, but he was gone. Then one afternoon, a photographer who was in the event industry, up and coming, his name was Naveed, walked into my showroom. He carried a picture frame with him and asked if I knew the man that was inside that picture. He said he was looking for influential Iranians in our community. And he turned the frame around, and lo and behold, it was my father. That familiar gaze, that unshakable presence. I froze, broke into tears. Somehow, through the frame, he had come back to witness what I was building. That picture has been on my office wall every day for the last 19 years. A reminder to me that building is never risk-free, but it is always worth it. So here's the illusion that we deal with this week. Building without risk. We want to gain without losing. We want the triumph without feeling the wounds. But everything worth building will cost you. It will cost you money, relationships, pride, safety, and most importantly, it will cost you time. So the question is not whether risk is avoidable, it's whether the risk builds something that endures beyond numbers. So Persiano Events was born not into wealth, it was born into debt. Not into strategy, but into sweat. Not into safety, but in the risk. So love reframes risk of building in this way. When you look at love through leadership, through stewardship, we were risking by building and caring for people, even when the market was failing us. Love to us, when we looked at the opportunity through creativity, was we had an office that we needed to turn into something. And what do? We turned it into a showroom, a storage place, a laundry room, whatever survival aspect we could have done, that became our innovation. That became our creativity. When we look at our definition of love and how it reframes building through a vision that unites, our love kept us ironing linens with my mother-in-law, with Ali, with Asal, instead of us drowning in despair and demise. And finally, when we look at our definition of love through empowerment, which will lead to enrichment, empowerment was us signing that deed to get that building. Enrichment is turning the loss into a 19-year legacy. And finally, when we look at the bank of time and trust, risk is the down payment for growth, always. So this week was simple. It was a reflection of a beginning of a 19-year journey. But it had to come with risk of all of those things that we had mentioned. So what is our kill move for this coming week? How do we address the same illusion that we will always address in our lives? We need to identify one dream that we are stalling because of risk. What is the one dream you're stalling? Ask yourself, is the risk really you losing anything? Or is it going to be a tuition for you? And within 48 hours, take the third step. Take one little step into this risk. Small, but irreversible. And finally, take that fourth step and record this as another deposit, because risk is the currency of builders. And I will leave you with this closing candle of the week. If you want to build, you must pay in risk. There is no other currency. So ciao and see you next week.